At Let's See Labs, we're offering leadership development opportunities that position leaders to thrive in a polarized world. In our society and in our culture, we're experiencing division, polarization, pulling people apart, showing up in tension inside our bodies, impacting our relationships and impacting the work process itself. It's impacting the quality of our inventiveness, our own capacity to be with emergence, to be with the unknown as we are exploring innovation. It's also impacting the quality of our relationships with potential customers and clients as we're interacting with all different sorts of cultures and different ideologies and belief systems. It's also, in the same way, impacting the work satisfaction of the quality of our relationships with our teammates. The Society for Human Resource Management conducted a study that showed from 2015 to 2019, the cost of turnover in workplace culture exceeded $223 billion. So we can see that the quality of workplace culture is critical to the bottom line, to profit, to actually successful business. We know that the more diversity that we can bring on a team and celebrate, the better the outcomes are for work. So how do we actually allow this diversity to thrive instead of having it impact us in ways that we become defensive or scared? Our leadership development opportunities offer solutions for multiple dimensions of leadership. For example, diversity, equity, and inclusion trainings can often have unintended byproducts, generating an environment where, unless those insights are deeply integrated into the culture through the individuals, it can produce more tension, more defensiveness, more on edge relating. So what we're doing at Let's See Labs is collecting stories of people who have undergone an inner reckoning with themselves or an inner transformation. What kind of work have they done? These types of leaders can show up and transform cultures from ones of division and conflict to ones of empathy, human-centered relating, and compassion. As each individual recognizes their inherent worth, how does this ripple out, impacting and scaling at the collective level? And as we bring these stories together from all different contexts, we then generate workshops that include films and stories as the catalyst to set the standard of leadership, to invite us into a conversation where we begin to explore what this looks like and feels like within our own world, within our own life, and explore the similarities and differences between what transformation means. We're curious about what challenges you're facing in your workplace today, so we can understand what we can include in our methodology of self-awareness and leadership trainings. This methodology includes 5 modules. 1, own your own experience. What does it look like to actually be emotionally sovereign? What does that even mean? Number 2, to identify the stories, the identity markers, and the triggers that are operating in our own belief systems that we may or may not be aware of, and how can we explore them deeper and get curious about the ways in which we're showing up we might not know about. And number 3, an invitation to feel grief, to be with grief, to understand how does grief play a role in our own transformation. The 4th module explores traditional hero and villain roles and how we might be putting ourselves or others into these roles without knowing it. And how does that impact what's happening in the space? Which leads us to our 5th module, which invites us into exercises around shifting the blame frame, shifting out of blame for ourselves and blame for others, and inviting us into generative, complex, and nuanced narratives that includes the human dimension of how we see ourselves and each other, and how we can lead from this place of restorative justice from a moment-to-moment process, because we understand and we can feel ourselves, therefore we can see each other clearly. So as we're building these cultures of self-realizing leaders, ultimately what we're doing is generating the capacity for our own expansion. So as we face the world and we feel called into polarizing ways of being, we can stay centered in our wholeness, in our joy, and live from an expanded place to communicate if we feel impacted. We still have our yes, our no, our agency, but we do it from a place of joy. We do it from a place of connection. So if you and your team are curious about embarking on this transformative leadership journey, reach out to us at letsseelabs.com and let's get started together.